and welcome to Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Yeah. Okay. I always love that chick in the middle. Like, she does it so fast. Oh, she doesn't even know who I am. Anyway, thank you guys. I'm Roswell Royce Laurie. And I do mean Royce, trust me. Welcome to the show of Live with Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata from all over the world. Yes, we're going from Europe to Australia to California to New York to Florida. I want to know what members of Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata are doing this summer, and I want them to about their events and more. Facebook has been very generous to offer me to actually continue this craziness that I'm doing this summer. I started to do this right after Christmas, and I was a little hesitant to continue it because who in their right mind would like go around the world and interview dancers? And I mean, you guys are supposed to just post stuff, right? That's how it's always been, but not with me. We're going to do something different. All right. And we're going to continue this process in the autumn of 2023, right? Beginning in September, we're going to have like a weekly program. I'm not only going to interview cool folks who love the bachata, I'm also going to bring other professionals to go live with me so they can educate and help the dance world in general know about whatever else is going out there. Maybe like real estate stuff, legal advice, medical stuff, you name it. So I'm going to bring all of these professionals to go live with me, and we're going to talk. All right. But I just want to make a couple quick announcements before I bring Mr. Jimmy Boo on with me. Jimmy is in California, and I'm honored to go live with him. I've known him for for a couple of years. I never met him yet, but I still feel like he's my best friend. I mean, based upon the conversations we had over the months, his postings and stuff, he's a very, very, very young man, loyal, very successful, and he's one of the top leaders in the dance industry. And he's just a great guy. He has a lot of patience. I mean, we were supposed to start like this interview like half an hour ago, but as everyone knows, IT problems again. My brand new laptop. All of a sudden, the camera is not working, and now I have to use my ugly old laptop, which I hate, so I can do the interview. And it's kind of dark on the laptop. The lights are not really working. So Jimmy's like, oh, just take your time, don't rush, and whatever. So he's a great guy. So Jimmy, thank you for going live with me. Before you and I talk, bro, a couple quick announcements. Okay, we're gonna have Kelvin and Sophie. We're gonna go live on Friday. They're gonna from Miami, and then the beautiful Tabitha in Maryland on Monday. Then I'm gonna take 1 month break in August. So I'll be doing a lot of traveling, so a lot of family stuff. And then we continue this back in September. Hey, guess what? I'm reading the job boards. You guys are doing a great job sharing your postings on Cool Folks Love to Bachata webpage. Look at what I'm reading. Daniel Collins, bro, congratulations to you. You're going in August to Gothenburg, Sweden to perform. Bro, we are proud of you. Thank you. Martin Barrio, thank you for sharing your July 28th to 29th. Oh my goddess event in Miami. I wish you lots of luck, bro, and I love coming to your events. Okay, who else are having events that are coming up? Arnolfo Pablo, bro, you're having a San Mayer live event this Wednesday in California. So good luck to you, bro. My friend Mike Calderon, you're having your Salsa Holics Neo Summer Night Out event this Friday, July 28th. Bro, that's fabulous. And there's so many more events. Congratulations on your event this Sunday in Dade City, Florida. I wish you lots of luck. My boy Suave Beats, Mambo Central Thursdays. Oh my God, bro. I mean, that's a fabulous posting. Las Vegas is a place to be. Oh, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So, guys, please check out our daily events on the Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata webpage under the events icon. Members from all over the world. So, if you guys, are traveling and need to know where to go and what to do, just click on Cool Folks Love to Bachata, go to the event section, and there it is. All your colleagues have been posting their stuff, and all you guys are doing a great job. There's 2,900 of you guys, and you guys are doing a fabulous job, so keep it up. Okay? So, before all the chapstick melts away in my lip here, because, my God, it's already melting. Oh, Charlie. Okay, I'm melting here. There's like lights in my face. Okay. Jimmy, I need your help, bro. Come, come, come. How are you?
How's it going, Roswell? Hey, you know what? That highlight reel, that was like 3 minutes long. You're like a celebrity with all these pictures with all these other people. It's crazy.
Bro, I got to find a picture of you and your wife so I can stick it. I don't know her that well, so I'm going to ask you to vouch on my behalf. I don't want her to get mad at me. I need a picture of us so I can stick it there with everyone else. So when the videos and pictures, I'm like, yeah, Jimmy's here and his wife. Yeah. So gotta send me one, bro. I am in a crappy mood today, like I was telling you, before we went live. My brand new laptop is not working, and then my old laptop is working, but then we're having a connection problem because I have an old computer. So it's not you. It's not you. You didn't do anything wrong. I just figured I'm in New York and California, Wi-Fi. It's just a crappy computer, but I'm happy
Well, I
that
mean,
you
it's
joined
it's
us.
not it's not all just you. It's my computer too. So I was just using a computer that was just beyond its time, just to see if it could work. But hey, we're here. You're good. We're
How's,
good.
how's California, bro? I know what we talked like 2 months ago when I was driving from Atlanta back home to New Jersey for the summer. I know you called me and stuff, and I keep saying, I have to come back to California. I haven't been to California since. Was it like you remember when those big fires happened in August, like Santa Monica, and was it like 5 summers ago? You know that the oh God, Malibu, Santa Monica, when that fire was like rushing through those areas and whatever, like late August, early September. Since then, I've never came back to California, and I used to hang out in that area like almost every year. Haven't been back since then, and I miss coming and hanging out there and seeing all my friends and the bachata stuff. So, bro, forgive me, and I know a lot of members from Cool Folks are keep asking me, Russell, when are you gonna come out to one of our events and and see us and Mike Alindo. Mike and I were just talking a couple of days ago. I'm like, Mike, I will come to San Jose and then maybe go see JP Santana in Los Angeles and then come see Jimmy Boo. I will come. I just have to get myself organized and get some time off from work. I watch my mom because I'm the caretaker of my mom now. That's my third job. So, but I will. Fire or no fire or whatever. I will come. Hopefully before the year is over. I just gotta come see you guys. You know.
Well, why does it have to be that you have to come to us? We should be going to you. We
But you
understand
guys are
that.
celebrities. You guys are celebrities. I'm just Roswell. You guys are
Yeah,
celebrities.
but you have financial responsibilities that we should recognize and understand. And we've already talked. For those who are watching, Roswell takes care of his mom and his dad, and he drives a huge portion of his time is spent traveling up and down the eastern coast. And Rosal, we've talked about this. You have a responsibility, and at least for me, I recognize that responsibility would be carrying on for the next couple of years. And although I appreciate the sentiment that you want to come out to here, your responsibilities are on the East Coast, and we need to be a little bit more sympathetic. At least I'm a little bit sympathetic that hey, I need to spend time with you and fly out to you rather than the other way around. So I appreciate your sentiment of wanting to travel to San Francisco and California, but the sentiment also needs to be put back where, hey, we can go to you. In fact, you are worth the time to go to the East Coast.
I can see why your wife married you. I mean, you're just a cool guy. I didn't expect that, but we didn't practice this in a rehearsal or whatever. I mean, that's that's nice of you. That means a lot to me. And I know coming from you, I mean, I know, you're very, that's one thing about people that I can feel their energy. I know when they're full of it, and when they're just damn good to the heart. And you, it's then I mean it, and I mean that. Thanks a lot because it's a lot. I'll be honest with you before we start the interview. I mean, I feel a little guilty because you guys are sharing your postings on my platform. At least in return, I can just like do my best to fly out wherever you guys are and just say a quick, give you guys a big Roswell hug, and then hop back in a plane to check on my mom. But I really really feel bad about California because California used to be my hangout spot before I started Cool Folk. Before I moved to Texas and Miami, California like 2 or 3 times a year. I used to like hop on a plane on a Thursday night from New York City, JFK, go directly to Los Angeles or wherever just for the weekend, do bachata dancing, leave Monday morning, sleep on a plane so I can go back to work the next day. I mean, so I miss, but I just miss coming to California, because I don't know. I just miss it. But anyway, thank you so much. That's very, very nice of you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Now, sir, can you, please tell everyone a little bit more about you?
Well, my name is Jimmy. I am based out in San Francisco, California. I am a bachata event organizer and promoter. I should say we, because it's just not me. We have a team of people where we organize a couple events out here. We have an event called Hello Bachata, which is based out in San Francisco. We have an event that we just had last Sunday called Bachata by the Basin. It's an annual outdoor free event that the whole Bay Area goes to. And starting next year in July 2024, we have our first festival, which is going to be called Hello Bachata Fest. And that will have, of course, with Kizomba, we'll have Zouk, and we'll have Salsa. So that is what I do right now. For me, in terms of my experience, I have been dancing salsa since 1997. Actually, I should say, let me take that back. I've been dancing ballroom dancing. I was doing ballroom dancing from 1997 to 1999. Started salsa from 1999 all the way up to now. Opened up my first dance studio in 2002. Closed the dance studio in 2012 due to the housing crisis. It took a couple of years, but the housing crisis caused my nonprofit to pretty much collapse on itself, and I didn't react fast enough to redo the business model. And since then, since 2012, yeah, just kind of meandered through life, I guess you could say. And then COVID happened. When COVID happened, we started an event called Bachata by the Basin in May 2021. And it wasn't really it wasn't something that was supposed to be serious in a sense where I don't know how it is over in the East Coast, but in California, at least in the San Francisco area, the government officials took it very serious where gatherings, indoor gatherings, were not acceptable. So a lot of us did not get to see each other for quite some time during that COVID period. And May 2021 came around where for some reason, I don't know what sparked it in me, but the idea was why not start a free outdoor event? Just a one-time event. It was just meant to be a one-day event. My wife Masha at the time suggested, "Hey, you should start an event. You should start an event." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a pessimist when it comes to events. I just like, yeah, I don't want to do anything." But to make it as short as I can, because in case there's questions, and that we can carry the conversation. That sparked a great event where people from all around San Francisco came out, and people who were stuck indoors were able to come out because it was an outdoor event. So that fear of catching COVID was a little bit minimized. We had an encore July 2021 that was also successful. The first event we had maybe 300 people. So that was a big thing. And then I think July 2021 was about 400 people. And that led to what we do currently every month, which is Hello Bachata. And Hello Bachata was sparked by Bachata by the Basin because of the people who supported us and came out for the dancing for Bachata by the Basin. And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, that's great. I'm just so wrapped up. Every time I ask people, tell me a little bit about you. It's like I'm also learning about you guys. Also, I know who you guys are. I mean, by name and posting, but I really, it's only like during these live interviews is like I really like, yeah, really getting to know this guy, this girl. So that your story is very interesting. 2002, when you opened up your first studio, man, how did you feel? Did you feel like like you're the king of the world, or you just feel like you're gonna make a difference in the life of dancers? I got let me before you answer that question. When I created Cool Folk, check this out, bro. When I created Cool Folks Love to Bachata, you know, I was like, I don't know, I don't know how people might take it. I don't know, people already were telling me before I opened it that why such a long name, Roswell? Cool Folks Love to Bachata. How many dancers gonna have enough time at 1 a.m. in the morning to remember that? It ain't gonna work, right? And it did. It just worked because I felt it's going to work, right, man? Okay, even though a lot of criticism and negative stuff was around me, and people are like, "Get a real job. Why are you helping these dancers? Don't they, can they help themselves?" Like, Russell, you're a grown man. You're approaching the big 50. What? Get a life, bro. Social media, get a life. And I said, that is my life. And I said, whether it's successful or not, the point is that I believe in it. I believe it's going to work. I believe it's going to reach out to people and it's going to help people. That's what I like to help people. And I'm using this platform so it can be used to help people. Right, Jimmy? So when you opened up your studio, bro, did you feel that, okay, I'm gonna take it far beyond from what anyone imagined, or do you have hopes and dreams for it, or is it just like, okay, I'm just opening up the studio? How did you feel when it actually opened? And I'm not talking about money wise or profit, or you opened it, you did something, you created. How did you feel, bro?
Well, I think we need to take a step back and talk a little bit more about why, what was the intention behind starting the studio. And the key years that we can talk about right now is 1999 to 2002,
Okay,
which is, and I'm getting old because I forgot to count. So 9012, that's 3 years,
that's
right?
okay.
That's
That's
3 years.
okay.
So those 3 years, I was in college. I was a broke student in college. And there was a club in San Jose. So that's where my dance studio was at. It was in San Jose. It was called the Morito Studio. But before that actually happened, I went to this club called Club Miami. They used to have salsa dancing on Thursdays and Fridays. And I would go early as a way to avoid paying the cover charge.
Oh,
So at the time, I was broke. I was a broke student. So I made friends. I guess you could say I made acquaintance with the security guy. So I used to show up at 6:50 p.m. because lessons were at 7 p.m. I would show up at 6:50 p.m. before the cashier would show up, just so that way I can get in for free. And by the grace of the security person, he just let me didn't charge me, but he allowed me for I think for the 6 months to a year, I would get in for free because I just could not afford uh, going to the club and pay tuition on my own. So that's the backstory with that. So when I started the studio, the intention was primarily for selfish reasons to become better at salsa dancing. Because I had a friend who suggested to me, well, the best way to get better at dancing or salsa dancing is to teach. So I wanted to get better at dancing, hence the reason why I decided I want to teach. And at the time, my friend was living in this complex, and he said, "Hey, there's this space up for lease downstairs on the ground floor. Maybe you should look into renting it out or leasing, I should say." And the opportunity came, and I rented it. Now, the key thing that a lot of people will remember from that generation was I provided free salsa lessons every Thursday night. So for that 9.5 years, J Smooth Salsa, also known as the Morito Studio, located at 550 North 6th Street in Japantown in San Jose, offered free salsa lessons. And the reason why I did that is because I remember how difficult it was for me to afford to go to the club. So this was my way to give back to the community and give something where, for those who couldn't afford it, to be able to come take salsa lessons. Because I'm sure you know, Roswell, people make excuses all the time to learn how to salsa dance or bachata dance. Oh, this and this and that. Well, a common excuse is, well, I can't afford it. Well, I decided to take that element out. And now there was no real excuse other than distance, right? You just have to get in your car and just drive and take salsa lessons from us. And we impacted, or I felt we impacted the community. It was a huge accomplishment, at least for me, for those 9.5 years. And something about teaching for free, at least for me, I made sure that the quality. Sometimes people say, "Hey, what you get, what you pay for." And at least for me, that was not the case. Just because it was free does not mean that it cannot be an excellent lesson plan. It cannot be an excellent event. So I also use the studio as a way to increase my ability as an instructor to, my lesson plan. Make sure the lesson plans were good, make sure the lesson plan makes sense, that sort of thing. And so going back to what you're saying, did I feel like I was on top of the world? I would say at the beginning, yes, because I felt that I had something to prove. I was this new dance instructor, new salsa dancer, and I felt that in order to get people to come take my lessons, I had to show that I knew how to dance. And I think I did that for the first couple months, and then I got checked. One of my best friends said, "Hey, you're being too show off. You're being too showy. You're being too egoistic. I guess he could say that, and you need to dial down your behavior and focus on the lesson." And I took it to heart, and from then on, I think I just spent years and years just building that sense of humbleness, I guess, and produced a very great dance studio where we did provide great lessons for that time that we were open, those 9.5 years. And my legacy now, even though that studio is closed, is that there have been many dancers who moved on to teaching, who moved on to greater things. And it's even today, which is not even today, I would say on Sunday, I still get reminders of that legacy that I left, which is providing salsa lessons for free, giving people the opportunity to become who they want to be, and for them to give something back. So like I said, back then it's like, yeah, it was for ego for the first couple months, and then after that it was just business. It was more about helping people enrich their lives with salsa dancing and giving them no excuse to go. Because if I take money out of the equation, then the only excuse they have is just themselves.
Yes, yeah, no, interesting. As you talk, you remind me of one of my best friends, from college. I have two best friends. One of my best friend is Marco in Germany. I've known him since I was a kid. And my other best friend is Raymond from Rutgers. My God, the three of us, we go back in history. So Raymond always used to tell me, do something, Russell, just unconditional, do it because it's just the right thing to do. He was more of the type that, when you do something, you just do it without an intention or something good, without an intention. It's like good energy, you do it and it somehow, some way comes back to you or your family or somewhere down the line. I don't know, maybe something like karma, I guess, or whatever. But, I never really understood what he used to tell me back in the days until now. Um, Jimmy, there's many reasons I opened up Cool Folks Love to Bachata. Many reasons, and we can be here for hours talking about it. But reflecting to what my friend Raymond, it helped me remember my father, the promise I made to him. Right, and like 9 to 5 work, like literally work. 5 on, you're with your family. You know, turn your computer off, turn the phone off. If your boss called, let it go to voicemail. Spend time with your family, spend time with your kids, whatever. Then go to sleep at 11. And everything was just like punctual. And so my dad always used to tell me, you can make a lots of money during the days and whatever, but sometimes in life it's good to do things unconditional. Right? Unconditional. Just do it. Don't think about it. Just do it. Right? And it has to come from the heart. So when I created Cool Folks Love the Bachata, social media was on my back. They were like, okay, how are you going to charge people for posting your stuff? Why do people, like, Russell, what's going on? You just can't have people posting for free. And as when I first started, people were posting the same thing over and over and over. They took advantage, and I never said anything. I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But someone told me, they put a message, and they said, Roswell, I didn't ask this person to do it. Russell, thank you for your unconditional, thank you for your unconditional support. Thank you for just doing it because it's the right thing to do. You're just doing it because you feel it's the right thing to do. You're not expecting anything in return. That's what that posting meant. So after what you just said, and I'm thinking about my friend Raymond when he said, just do stuff and just do it for the goodness. And then I think about my dad. It makes me think that I am proud. I am super proud to be talking to you and to have talked with everyone with me and who else me in the future, because this is the main reason I created Cool Folks, right? The main reason because I believe in my heart, and I know I'm going to get a lot of in my heart that I'm doing. I'm not expecting anything in return. Whatever religion we believe in, Jimmy, Buddhist, Christian, Jewish, whatever, no religion. We're not gonna. I mean, I'm not cool man who loves a bachata is not going to be doing this. 100. I'll probably be whatever afterlife is there. So my people to look back and say, okay, something because he believed in what he did. He's not expecting anything in return. He doesn't, it just he did it, you know. So when you mentioned the reasons and the why you did what you did, the school and stuff, and it makes me think that um, I'm talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes in life, it's just good. I don't know, man. I don't know how to say. It's just good to do something because you believe and when you do something unconditionally, right? It comes from the heart. Somehow, I don't know how to explain it. Somehow, it's goodness, like it just comes back to you and the people around you, and before you know it, you are the king of the world. You know what I'm saying, man? So I know I'm going a little deep with this interview, and I'm taking it to a higher level here, but I just want to say to everyone in general, not only Mr. Boo, in general, not everything is about money. I know I'm gonna regret this when I wake up tomorrow morning, because a lot of people are going to be like, Roswell, the economy is bad and people got bills to pay. Yes, it's going to be like that 100 years from now, But my point is that when you do something natural, good from the heart, without any, like stigma or expecting stuff or whatever, trust me on this one. Please trust me on this one, everyone. Things just happen to come your way when you least expect it, and before you know it, you are the king and the queen of the world. And whatever you do, whether it's a dance studio, whether it's a platform, whether it's a new relationship, a new job, a new computer, whatever, when you do truly unconditional, it, trust me, it comes back, and you feel much better now than you did before. Jimmy, that's all I want to say. I didn't mean to take this interview into a new level, but I just had to mention so I apologize. Okay. Um, Let me ask you a question now, an interview question. Okay. Um, Hello. You know, um, how did that? I think that's a fair question. Why not? What's up? Or like, like, hey, or what? Like, hello. I mean, bro, what was going on in your head, or whoever told? Why hello? I mean, for the name of to promote dance and stuff. Like, how did you come? I mean, most people know. I used to live in Texas, so I came cool folks, Texas. So I'm like cool folks. That's how I got the name. But how did you come up with hello?
I don't think the story is really that great. The how I came up with the word "Hello Bachata."
I want to hear, bro.
Um,
Tell me. I want to hear. Forget everyone
but
else. I
I
want to
don't
know.
think there. I mean, it's kind of like have you ever watched the interview with Jeff Bezos on Amazon about the question about like how he came up with the word Amazon? It's the same
Oh,
thing. Yeah,
oh,
his yeah. The reasons why he came up with Amazon was essentially it was just a name that was available.
oh, okay.
So with Hello Bachata, it's really hard to pinpoint because I don't quite remember anymore. I will say though that it probably was something similar to how we came up with Bachata by the Basin. So Bachata by the Basin is the annual free outdoor event. Months after we did Bachata by the Basin is when we started Hello Bachata. And like all like a lot of like a lot of my business ideas usually starts with graphics design. So Bachata by the Basin was started by me just simply drawing out words and letters and backgrounds, and that kind of is my entertainment, right? So when it goes to what's the driving force, like, why does anyone have an event? For me, the reason why I like to have these events is because I get to use videography and photography and graphics design, and I get to use my skills as a hobby. So when it came to designing the Hello Bachata logo and the name, it was the same thing. I just started writing out, drawing some words out. I was like, oh, cool. Well, I do know I want to have the word bachata in this phrase. And I think what happened was, and I still have the original concept art. The reason why I think I did with the word hello is because I was thinking about the cursive word. Have you ever seen that there's somewhere out there someone drew out the word hello in cursive, not in the bachata scene, but just in general. And I think somehow I kind of tapped into that idea. I was like, oh hey, you know what? I kind of like this cursive word hello, so I somehow just incorporate it. And the previous concept designs that I had for the word Hello Bachata, it was blocky. It was like very odd. But I also feel that the reason why we put together the word Hello Bachata is because of the uniqueness of what we had planned. So again, it goes back to Bachata by the Basin. So Bachata by the Basin, the original hours was 3 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So knowing that those hours worked really well, we decided to bring those hours into our monthly event. We knew that Sunday worked because of Bachata by the Basin, so we knew that we wanted to do a Sunday. So I'm the kind of person where it's like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And if the hours was working for Bachata by the Basin, let's go ahead and transfer it over to our monthly event, Hello Bachata. And that's what happened. So our hours for Hello Bachata are on Sundays from 3 o'clock to 8:30 once a month, because we didn't want to. Um, Weekly events are really tough. So we just felt that a monthly event made more sense. And because we wanted to let people out at 8:30, that's where we came up with the key phrase. Hello Bachata is where new and old friends meet without the late night drive home. And hence somehow that kind of idea came together, and then just called it Hello Bachata. And now that's our key phrase, where new and old friends meet without the late night drive. Hello Bachata is the friendliest bachata event in San Francisco. That's how it came about.
Yeah, I like that. Old friends and new friends. It's it sounds like friends. I mean, I like that. It's like everyone coming together, man, connecting, and from all over. I like
But
that. It's
that's
like
what, but
unity.
that's, yeah, but that's what dancing is about. Dancing, what a social dancing is about, just connecting with friends and making new friends. That's really what it is about.
Yeah. Now, it makes me think about the question I'm going to ask you with regards to connection and people coming together and stuff. Something about collaboration. You probably heard this question asked so many times, everyone that goes live with me. So it's your turn, Jimmy, to answer this famous collaboration Roswell question. All right, bro. All right, check this out. All right. Okay. It's a major city, right? I don't know. It can be Miami, California, Paris, whatever. But we got like five of the top organizers, right? They're all they all live within 5 miles radius of one another, right? And it's a Saturday night, for example, and they're doing their same stuff that they normally do, right? They have their events, right? You have John, I don't know, you have like Judy, you have Sheila, you have Carlos, Rashid, and they're all gonna have their events that Saturday night. They're all within like 5 miles radius. They spend a lot of fortune, as you know. I mean, as an organizer and planner stuff, they have legal contract, they have like workshops and all this money investment and stuff. And the problem is the problem. Let's say, I get a phone call. Okay, the answer, yeah, yeah, I'll come. I'll come support you. Right. Then again, I get a phone call also from my friend here, say, Russell, I heard you're in town, right? You're coming, like, yeah. Then all of a sudden, I find myself going to like this and this and this. Before you know it, I didn't really get to dance with anyone. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've been traveling all over town. And hello, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. And it's not only me, bro. It's other people, other friends and family and supporters. They have to decide: should I hang out at this event all night, or should I just hang out here for 2 minutes, then jump in an Uber and then go all the way here and hang out at this event? But then again, should I hang out at this event, etc., 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 etc. My point is that there gotta be there gotta be a way to better, I don't know, collaborate. I mean, if this was handled in a different situation, is there a way, man, that an example like this where all five friends, yes, they're friends, could have come together just for one night and make life easier just for everyone, including themselves? Because what I'm thinking most is that if I was an organizer, which I'm not, if I was an organizer, why would I spend all that money, and whatever, organizing an event, knowing only a couple people are going to show up for a couple nights, and then, you know, the money I have to pay for the real estate place, the beverages, the workshop instructor. Before you know it, I only made probably like $10, and I invested like $10,000, and then I'm doing it again next Saturday, and then. And I don't know if it makes sense, or maybe it's part of the business because, as everyone knows, I'm still kind of new to this, and I just see stuff when I travel to everyone's events, and I feel bad because all of you guys are my friends. You know what I'm saying? So I figured by bringing this question live, maybe it may help future organizers or beginners or a better way how to collaborate and to avoid this. So Jimmy, it's just not, it's not a right or wrong answer. It's just, I'm just trying to get everyone's opinion on how an example like this, how it could have been better regulated and all of this headache and confusion and rush here and rush there. But how could that have been avoided if these five amigos came together? I don't know. I don't know. Is there a way that the dance world can better like come together or better collaborate? Just I don't know. Maybe it is. It's like that. It's always been like that, or I don't know, man. Do you have any suggestions on how you know organizers can better like come together? So I don't know. So
Well, I feel like there's a couple things. Number one, are maybe the organizers already talking to one another? I mean,
oh,
are we? It changes, right? It could, some organizers talk, some people don't. But I think the main question is, I think if I understand your question is it possible or can event organizers work together? Is that the question?
definitely. Yeah. Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the question. So the answer I'm going to have to give you is not going to be nice, and it's actually a lot harder than anyone wants to admit.
Okay.
And the simple answer is, well, the first answer to start is, if you want to be able to collaborate with one another or be able to be in a situation where you have an opportunity to work with other people, it starts with yourself. So the reality is this: we are human beings, and we're not machines, we're humans, we make mistakes. We also unfortunately have, for a lot of us, trauma as a result of growing up. Now, to give it back some back information, I studied human behavior for at least a year, a couple years back. And during that time where I studied human behavior, it allowed me the opportunity to understand a bit more how and why people act the way they do. And oftentimes, the way you or anyone sees the world around them has a lot to do with the way they were brought up as a child. Now, I know it's because this is a little bit, this like, we're going to like theory now. We're going to like object relations theory. It is the theory where the way you were brought up, the way your parents treated you in your early years in life, how you foresee the world around you and relationships. For example, someone, this is there's no specific person in mind, but someone who grew up with parents, well, let's just say grew up with a mom, dad wasn't around, and the mom was only around, and the mom had a drug issue. Typically, a mom with a drug issue is not completely focused on their baby. They're more focused on trying to get the high. So what happens is the child gets kind of left in the crib a little bit too long. So how many times have we seen a child that's crying? They're upset. They're looking for connection with their mom. The crying is just simply as a way to get mom to come back. But if mom doesn't come back, what happens? The child continues to cry louder and louder. The child doesn't understand that mom is still in the other room. The child only sees it as, oh shoot, my caregiver has abandoned me. I'm going to be left to the wild to be killed by a saber-toothed tiger, essentially. So what happens is this child starts to believe that in life, that if I cry, no one's going to come and help me. And what happens is they internalize this behavior, and as they get older, they start to panic at the first instant of any reason to believe that someone's going to leave them. How many times have you seen people in relationships, or maybe you experienced in a relationship, where you have this feeling where, shoot, you're getting kind of anxious, maybe boyfriend A or girlfriend A hasn't called back, right? You text them, you call them, they haven't called you back. Oh shoot, you start thinking, oh, is this person cheating on me? Is this person leaving me for someone else? All these alarms that are just coming, just like blaring in your head, is a result of your upbringing and how you see the world around you. This behavior is called preoccupied anxious. It's one of the three types of behaviors when it comes to how we see the world. One is avoidance, one is secure behavior. But basically, what happens is, as I try to wrap this all around, in order for you to be able to function in a way where you can interact and work with people in a healthy way, it starts with yourself. Now, like I said, a lot of times, a lot of us, we have this trauma growing up. Maybe our mom or dad wasn't there long enough, whatever. What happens is, as we go through life, unless we correct that behavior, that's how we see things. So I'll use myself as a good example. And this is going to be very, uh, it's only a third of the picture, I guess you could say. So growing up, I grew up in a very abusive family. Not to say that it was entirely my parents' fault, but it was because that's just how things was. My parents are immigrants from Vietnam. They were 19, 18, around the age when the Vietnam War happened. So my dad, at 15, had to join the military. So at 15, can you imagine someone who had to become an adult at 15 years old when they should be just enjoying life? My mom was from the poor countryside. She never had an education. Money was always tough for her family. So she grew up very anxious over money, not knowing if the next day she's going to have money. My dad, on the other hand, had to shut off all of his emotions in order to go to war. So that kind of trauma that each of my parents had made them who they were at 19 or 20. The unfortunate reality is when I was born, they didn't know how to turn it off. So that behavior was passed on to me, where my mom would project her anxiety onto me or my sister. My dad, being the man that he is, was, for all terms, very abusive. It's just for anyone that's born from that generation understands. There's lots of people who are born from that generation who understands that behavior where parents would hit their kids, that sort of thing. Now again, this is not a blaming game on my parents, but it is a way to give a better insight of what happened to me as I got older. As I got older, I just simply disconnected from my emotions because I learned as a child that if I cried, at 1 year old or 2 years old, no one was going to come for me. My parents did not come for me when I was at that age. So I had to learn that to survive, I had to turn off my emotions, turn off the crying, and just push forward. And a lot of men from that generation did that. They just had to basically learn that from parents that said, "Oh, you're crying? Well, big boys don't cry." Something you heard that phrase, right? So a lot of times there's a lot of men who are disconnected from their emotions. Unfortunately, as we progress through life, if we don't correct that, we end up causing a lot of pain and anguish to other people around us. Think about that. How many relationships have you had, and why did they fail? More often than not, the reason why they fail is because you didn't know how to properly behave in a relationship. You didn't know what to look for in a relationship. So for me, I just simply disconnected from my emotions. I wasn't able to sympathize with my partners. I wasn't able to understand where they were coming from because in my viewpoint, in my world, it's either my way or the highway. Unfortunately, that caused a lot of pain and anguish to a lot of relationships I had. And it took some understanding that that's not how we behave in relationships. A romantic relationship, I should say, is about being there for your partner and for them to be there for you. It is about being there for 80% or most of your partner's needs and them to you. It's not about being there for your partner for 40% of what they want, 30%, 20. It's about being there for most of their needs. Because again, a relationship is about protecting and helping one another. So if you're unable to carry that in a relationship where you understand that you need to be in a position where you can take care of someone you love, then how are you going to be in a position to be able to take care of the people around you? Say, case in point. So a lot of times, and again, this is not casting any blame to anyone, this is just simply human behavior. A lot of people are anxious. We're anxious for a lot of reasons. Okay? Never mind what happened as a child, but we're anxious because we're just thinking that we're anxious over money, right? Okay, I don't know if I have money. I don't know about this. The most common thing that happens when it comes to event organizers, and again, not casting blame to anyone, not pointing fingers to anybody, is the anxiety of, am I going to have enough people to come to this event? Am I going to have the vibe enough to present something that's fun for people? And that's not something that I can fix. It's not something you can fix. That's something that they had to fix within themselves. Anxiety is a very powerful um, emotion that has served its purpose where it has protected us as human beings for generations. Anxiety is something that has been brought on by a reptilian behavior. Because remember, animals, right? Go back even further. Animals have a fight or flight behavior because animals only get one chance at survival. They either die or they live. Making one mistake, and that's it, right? If the zebra doesn't understand that, oh shoot, that thing in the field is a lion, and if I don't move my ass, I'm gonna get eaten. That's it. So a lot of these behaviors of anxiety or like this fear is passed on genetically to animals, and humans are no different. The difference between us and the animals is our prefrontal cortex, which is placed right here in front of your head, which controls logic. So unlike the animals where their initial reaction is fight or flight, human beings are able to at least decide on their own, is this something I need to run away from, or is this something I need to fight for? So, as human beings, we have the ability, unlike animals, to learn from our mistakes and to be able to become better at reacting to specific situations. So, when it comes to events, the unfortunate reality is a lot of people get anxious. We get anxious because we don't know if that person that's is on across town, are they going to come to my event? Am I going to cover my bills? Um, whatever it is, right? So, in order to get to a position where that doesn't happen, I would say happen. That's a very poor word to say. Minimize, because in reality, we're all anxious, we're all avoidant, we're all to some degree on a spectrum having some sort of behavior thing that we have to work on. We can be more aware of it, we can minimize it, but we can never push it away completely. So, as an event organizer who can be collaborative, who can be someone that can be worked with in terms of business, you have to work on yourself first before that can ever happen. If you're the kind of person who was brought up as a child to be anxious, well, if you try to do business with someone, you're always going to be thinking, oh, that business partner, they're going to try to cheat me. Or, oh, shoot, you know what? I don't think I'm going to have the money even if I work with this person. Oh, if I work with this person, they're just going to try to take on my business. All of these behaviors just simply are sabotaging our relationships with people. So it's not an easy thing though, because we're going to behavior and changing the way we behave through life. So in order for people to be able to work with one another, we have to work on ourselves to become more secure, which means less anxiety and more position where you're cool with yourself and you trust the other person, and be able to not only trust the other person, but to be able to identify people that you can trust. Because the reality is, you can't trust everyone in the world. Not because people have bad intentions, but because people have their own issues. Like, for example, I cannot be working with someone that is very anxious, is because they're going to self sabotage the relationship I have with them, because their anxiety is going to consume them in a way where they won't be able to work with someone. So remember, with anxiety, anxiety causes people to have tunnel vision, because what happens is when someone has anxiety, they can't see anything around them. They become more selfish when they become anxious. So if someone is very highly anxious and they're doing business with you, what's going to happen? They're going to forget that you're there, because they're more focused on trying to calm down that anxiety within them. So that's why it's so important, if you really want to do well having relationships with people and working with people, especially in like your scenario of 5 different promoters. It starts with being comfortable with yourself, being secure with yourself that everything is going to be okay. Because that's what the reality is. Everything is going to be okay. Even if there was 5 promoters, it's always going to be okay. And if you're able to get to that point where you've worked on yourself through personal growth and you're comfortable and you're secure, then you'll be able to work with other people. And then the fruits of your labor will actually come out, where the person does trust you, right? Because you worked on yourself. They know that you're not the wild animal that's gonna be like, oh shoot, I can't handle this. Or the guy or the person that says, well, yeah, I have no sympathy for this person. See, none of that actually happens if you worked on yourself and you're at a point where you're secure. So if you're a secure person, if you spent the years working on yourself and you're basically comfortable with yourself, truly comfortable with yourself, by the way, then the ability to work with other people can come in. And also, one of the side effects of being secure, well, if Joe Schmo across town has an event, you're not going to stress out because you know everything is going to be okay. So that is the element when it comes to being able to work with others in a dance industry space with multiple organizers. Because the reality is, there's plenty of people out there, like myself, who are secure with themselves, and we have no problems working with each other. It's just that, unfortunately, the people who are more secure about themselves, they don't got time to talk about it. They don't got time to complain. They don't got time to talk negativity because there's a business to be taken care of. There's positivity to be put out there. And that's the reality. That's what happens. People who, unfortunately, are feeling anxious about their events could focus more on themselves through personal growth to be more secure about themselves and their events, and everything will be okay. And again, this is just the level of organizer level. What we talk about when it comes to like dancers deciding where to go, that's a totally different element.
Um, wow, bro. So I'm speechless here. That's it's like talking to a PhD man here. You have your doctorate or something? You sound like you have your
No,
PhD
no, no, no.
degree.
I do not have a doctorate. The reason why I studied human behavior was simply because I was dating someone who broke up with me,
Mhm.
and I had a broken heart as a result. But I was left wondering, well, why did this person break up with me when I thought that, oh, I'm like this great guy, a guy in a relationship? Why did she break up with me? So they just simply started a rabbit hole. I mean, started a process where I just went down this rabbit hole where I discovered attachment theory, object relations theory, basically theories that explain why people behave the way they do. And I made it a mission to simply understand human behavior, not only to better enrich myself to become more secure, but also to help others in the process. And I have helped lots of people simply just having conversation. Because what happens also is when you're a person that is more secure and more comfortable with yourself, people gravitate to you because they know that they can trust you. They know that you're not going to stab them in the back. So it's very common for me for the last couple of years for men and women to just strike a conversation with me, and they realize that I have a I'm able to help them become better by simply helping them understand themselves better.
Yeesh, I'm studying something, and I'm studying the two-factor theory. Um, You remember back in high school, like Maslow? Remember that guy named Maslow? That little pyramid stuff. Like
Mhm.
people never get to the top of their that triangle because there's always something that knocks them down. They got to start from the bottom up, and so mankind, maybe 2% actually make it to that top. So when I was when I was studying psychology, right, in undergraduate school, I hated all the psychology courses except one course, industrial psychology, because industrial psychology talked about this guy named Maslow, hierarchy of needs. So that stuff been ringing in my head, when I was in sociology, I'm seeing human services and doing the legal stuff and all this stuff. I keep thinking, that there's a reason people do stuff, and there's some logic to it on the back, and so listening to you talk, like, I could, I could work with you to write a book or publish something, because theories is something that I'm fascinated about. I mean, you obviously know more about it than I do, and you're not even a doctoral student or whatever, but what you said is it's very interesting. I don't think I ever had anyone um, outside the academics to even like talk to me like this, or like have a conversation like this live, or even not live. So I admire what you said, and I didn't expect. I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Bill. I didn't expect that your like that. I thought it would be like a response and well, everyone needs to like come together, stop, just stop this craziness and just let it be. But you're given an explanation based on true examples. You used yourself, you're using like, studies, you're using the research. I mean, if you guys, who's ever listening to this, if you guys, take anything away from going live with Jimmy Boo, take this because this is like, I think this is like once there's one of those things, and I don't think it will ever happen again in any interviews. So I didn't. That's fabulous. I'm still trying to get my thoughts together here because you're amazing. And this is one of the reasons, man. I want I want you guys to go live with me, right? For this exact reason. Even if not me, someone else. There's more to you guys than these postings and these flyers and these events and these. You guys, and this is exactly what I'm trying to accomplish with social media. Bring you guys on so you guys can share real life experience, not stuff that you guys just dream up, but real life experience that can really help people. You know what I'm saying? And this is one a great example. That of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I honor you for saying what you say, but I honestly think I don't know your status or your work status of stuff, but if you do have time, bro, I'm almost 50 and I'm still like, I'm still like, you know, pursuing the school stuff. I really think you should, and talk to your wife about that. I really think you should consider taking your education to a higher level and theories. I'm like, you can major sociology, psychology, human services. No, hear me out first. Hear me out first. I'm not discouraging you, you know, from dancing or whatever. Still do that. I still do that on the side. But what I'm trying to say is that you have so much to. Now I think I know you more than I ever did before. I think you have so much to offer to the world. Believe me, you do. And what you just said, I, I don't think any PhD person that's listening to you talk knows these things, and they're academic scholars. So what I'm trying to say, you have real experience, and I think it should not go to waste. My father always told me that when I was young. He's like, if you have something that can help someone, like you're not. You're not bullshitting around. You're like really telling everyone real life stuff that happened to you and experience and knowledge and just animal stuff and these things. I mean, not every day, conversations happen like this in the dance world. So if you want, I think you should, and I'll support you with this. Whatever, I write you like a recommendation, talk to the dean, whatever, help you get fundings or scholarship. But
Wouldn't work.
I
It
think you
wouldn't
should do
work.
it. Honest to God, I think you
If
should.
I
I'm
can
sure you.
explain, the reason why it wouldn't work is because then it ceases, then it becomes a job, right? And
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to focus on what is my service right now. Right now, I service the community, and I service that community through a team of people through an event called Hello Bachata, and soon Hello Bachata Festival. That is where my needs, where my skills is most important right now. So I understand that I can service, I can help people, but there's plenty of other people who make it their lives to make personal growth and mental health a priority. There's plenty of other people who can do that. The only difference between me and them is because my focus is in the dance community, and my skills that I have learned on understanding human behavior simply allows me to be able to work with people in my industry and to be able to impact my immediate community, which is the San Francisco Bay Area. So for me, that is much more enriching because it goes back. Why do I do what I do right now? It's because I like graphics design. I like to draw. I like to design stuff. I like to market. That's my what I enjoy that gets me up every day. And if I'm able to promote my friends and the team behind my events, then so be it. That's what I get out of it. And as a result of that, I'm servicing a community that is able to come together, to be able to dance together from the far corners of the Bay Area. Now, this whole aspect of helping people with like personal growth, I already do that, but it's a smaller scale, right? People like, for example, I hope that with this video and people see me talking like this, I do welcome people to just simply reach out and say, hey, hi, my name is so and so. I saw this video. This is my problem. I would prefer that much more because that way I can do one on one with people who actually want to be helped, right?
Mhm.
It's one thing where I just put it out there for people to just kind of like look for me and then just kind of wait around for someone to ask me for help. But it's another when someone actually comes up to me and says, hey, I want to have a conversation. And it happens. It happens to this day. I have people who carry conversations, sometimes a lot more than I should because I have a wife now. And my wife does not like it when I'm here having multiple conversations with different women, right? It's very different now, but the option is still there, though.
It's amazing, bro. At least I publish a magazine or a book. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna let this go. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna let this go. I'm
Oh,
gonna
but
every
you
time
know
I talk
what?
to you, every time I talk to
Sorry
you, I'm
to,
like, Jimmy, I gotta
how about
let
this?
this
But
go.
I mean, sorry to cut you up,
Go
but
ahead.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
know you were talking about September. I know you want to do AI stuff, right? Right? You want to do
Mhm.
like interviews about AI. There's a time and place where we can talk. We can have another interview where we talk about mental health. So it's not. It doesn't have to be this conversation at this very moment, but it's an option to maybe talk about mental health because I do believe mental health is a huge priority
Mhm.
now, especially because we have the internet. Back from my generation and the people before our parents, your parents, and my generation, we didn't have the internet. Mental health was like very difficult to reach. Now we have podcasts, we have videos, we have ways to kind of inch our way towards a better future within ourselves, but also the way we treat other people. And there's always an option in the future for us to have a conversation on video again about mental health and the ways we can improve ourselves. Because in order for us to all be better human beings and for the generation after us, we have to make mental health and personal growth a priority. Otherwise, we're just never going to improve as a society.
Okay, it's a deal, though. It's a deal, bro. Yeah, of course. Of course. This is what I want to accomplish after the summer. Instead of having you guys just go live with me and talk, this brings, like other people with other perspective and other backgrounds and stuff like mental health. Yeah, that is great. I would be honored to. So, I want to come to California right now and just like give you a hug, show you how happy I am. I'm trying to control my emotions, like I'm live and I'm still sweating when I'm deep down inside. Like, give you a super hug,
You
because
know what we should do?
I
What we
love
should
you.
do
Man. Uh-huh.
What we should do is for everyone else who's watching is for those who don't know, Roswell loves to read books on Saturday nights. So what we could do is go to the library, read up on some self-help books, and try to improve ourselves. We can always do that.
Yes, I mean, bro, you're making my job easier, man. He's like, I wasn't, I'll be honest with you. I can't believe I'm losing it. I'm live. I'm losing it. But I'm like, oh God, another interview. I was like, I telling my mom, oh God, I got to do another interview. Why do? What's what? My mom was like, again. I'm like, yeah, you're making this job much easier. It feels great because sometimes a lot of people think like you know these just me going live with you guys is like a piece of cake. It's not. There's a lot of back and forth and like commitment and like taking off early from work and getting everything set up. So, yeah, I mean, bro, yeah, we definitely you and I am more. This continues in the autumn. But what I wanted to say, uh, still emotional here. You answered like the question already, but I'll still ask you away. Okay, ask you. When I was young, like super young, um, like I was sheltered, man, like super sheltered. My parents were like, like don't touch the door. You're gonna get germs. Hold it with a napkin, right? Don't go in the water when you go on the beach. You're gonna drown, or it might be like a jellyfish that's gonna bite you. So I never know how to swim. So even when I go to the doctor's office up to this day, or when I dance with somebody, COVID or no COVID, I'm always like, washing my hands or whatever. Or so when I was younger, it was my parents are great, so don't get me wrong. It's just that when you're too um, overprotective, it's not a good thing. And my mom and I, we talk about this a lot. I'm like, Mom, you and Dad did a great job, but then again, there's a lot of stuff I missed out on in life. Like a typical 17-year-old. They had their first date. 17, me like almost 30. Going on my first date, or like drink. I never drank before, as everyone know. Well, actually, I tried it, just beer, one time in college, and then peer pressure, and it like maybe when they were 5, 6, 10, 11. I don't know. Never smoked in my life, Jimmy Boo. Right? Don't do drugs. Don't do hookah. Whatever. I mean, my point is that there's nothing wrong with those things. I don't judge. People do what they want to do. I mean, I have friends that do that. But my bottom line is that when I was young, I didn't. I felt like up to this, I feel like I'm still close to 50 and I'm still in school. I feel like I missed out on a large chunk of my life because there was too much protection. Protection is good, but too much, So I guess my question to you is that um, I didn't really have a vision to do this, dance and arts and go live and stuff, because I was so accustomed and so like um, forced in a nice way, pursue academics, do the legal stuff, get a corporate job, blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? But deep down in my heart, I always wanted to do something cool. I always wanted to do dancing. I started ballroom dance, and then I did tango. Then I'm like, nah, it didn't work. So then I'm like, bachata, yeah, that's my thing. It just works. But I'm doing stuff now that I should have done a long time ago. And I feel like I missed out. I don't know. I never went out with me in a social, but maybe my friends that know me, they can say vouch for me. When I go out to a social, up to this day, just 2 days ago in New York, I'm standing by the wall, Jimmy, like literally by the wall, like I'm lost. I'm looking at people like dancing and hugging their girls and their boys and drinking and everything, and I'm like, okay, I think This is a good time for me to ask the girl to dance. And people look at me like, am I lost? Am I confused? I'm like, no, I'm just observing, and I don't realize what I'm doing until people tell me that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm not perfect, you know, and it took me a long time to do what I'm doing. So did you, and I know the answer, but I'm still going to ask you, basically, uh, did you always know deep down inside that, you're going to do what you're doing now, and, you're going to, the dance stuff is for you, and what I mean, is this something that was always in the back of your head, or you were just waiting for the right moment or stuff? I mean, when did you, if you don't mind me asking, when did you realize that this is your passion? I mean, I know you mentioned about the dance school and all of that stuff, but when did you, like, it took me, like, look, I'm still almost 50 and I'm still trying to, it took me a long time to realize what I love to do, not like, but what I love to do. When did when did you realize that, this is what you want to do?
Well, there's no simple answer for that.
Okay.
Because it also has to depend on the way I see the world. I don't necessarily see the world in terms of what is my passion and when did I discover my passion. I see the world as simply a day to day activity, and you're simply looking to the next day to do something. In a sense, where you have to look back further on my past in terms of what I like to do and move forward. And then you start to understand that there is not, I just do things based upon whatever I feel. And being someone that came from a background where I had no family responsibilities. I was taught very early on that I could do whatever I want. So over years, I just basically did whatever that caught my interest. Some things that I've done in the past: windsurfing, motorcycles. I shoot guns. Um,
Wow.
dancing, of course, top dancing. Uh, you know, I've tried. I mean, I basically tried it all. You know, marketing, design stuff, helping with festivals. I I just for me, what the reason why I do the things I do is part of it is because it's just whatever catches my interest. So where I'm at here today has nothing to do with what I ever had in mind. And I personally right now I still don't have anything specific in mind. Just because right now I organize events, just because right now I do a lot of graphics design, does not mean that this is what I'll be doing for the rest of my life. At some point, something's going to catch my interest, and I'm just going to keep moving on. And I think one of the best things about living in America, God bless America, is we have the ability to pursue happiness in whichever way we form within legal boundaries, though. I do not, I don't promote killing people. I don't promote violence, but this country allows you the ability to pursue things that what really makes you happy. And if someone wants to start an event when there's four other organizers, so be it. You're just pursuing your happiness. You know, and who's to say that I should stop you from being happy and pursuing the happiness? Whether or not it's successful or not has bears no relevance to pursuing happiness. And that's something we need to all remember as a society. People need to be allowed to pursue what they want to do to be happy within the boundaries of legal law. So if someone wants to, you know, dance at event A while people go to event C, well, let them. You know, like who are we to stop people from doing whatever they want to do, right? And I think that's important to recognize. And remember, why would someone stop you from doing something? It's because it's not about them. It's about whatever's going on in themselves, I should say. If I tell you, Roswell, hey, you know what? You shouldn't go to that event. Is it really because I think that I'm really looking out for you, or am I looking out for myself when I say that, right? Because if I was looking out for you, I would say, Roswell, hey, Roswell, you should just go and just check it out. If you like it, you don't, decide on your own, go from there. A common question people ask me is, hey, Jimmy, should I buy this motorcycle? My answer is, well, do you like it? And the answer is, yeah. Okay, then we should go buy it then. There's no reason why you should do it.
Something.
And it just goes. Yeah, it's that simple. But because what happens is we're just so tied down with all of these anxieties. Like Roswell, your mom said, when you were growing up, you made a good point. Your mom said, "Oh, don't touch that, don't touch that." How often do you, as an adult today, are attempting to do something and something inside of you, something deep inside tells you, "Oh, don't do that." Right? We all have this voice within us that is the self-critic that tells us not to do something. Some of those voices are louder in some people and some are quieter. But the reality, it's always there. And we just simply have to learn how to work with that voice and understand that, hey, I want to be happy. I want to do this. So I should do it. And that's what we shall all do as human beings, the pursuit of happiness and the right to be able to exercise our independence and our autonomy to decide what we want to do.
Bro, I could listen to you talk all night. I so want to write a book with you and publish it, and put it on like Google Scholar, you know. You're so educated. Your responses are so educated. It's like, I mean, no, I mean, you've always been educated. I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that your responses are like so on the point. My professor, and his team, he would be like, if you think I'm convincing you to start a program, he'll be like, here, I'll give you my PhD, Mr. Boo, to jump on my team so you can trust me. I love your response because you're so true, and I like that. I like to. Oh my God, I'm so emotional. I like talking from the heart, not just from a storybook. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so true, and I like this. I mean, Jimmy, I don't know if I said this to you before, but I'm old school. I grew up with like Walter and Oprah. When I remember
Yep.
like Yeah, Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, you remember like back.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
so
in the
come
same
home.
age bracket as you, by the way. Same age bracket. So
Yeah,
which I
like
totally.
4 p.m. to Oprah's on, and I used to watch her like how she speak, what she talk, like the stuff. I mean, she practiced what she's gonna say, but then again, some stuff it's just natural, and I'm like, she gets people to like open up. Gosh, she would have been so proud of me right now, but she, because I mean, hopefully she's looking. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. With whatever and additional stuff I'm trying to accomplish with life folks who cool folks who love to bachata. You guys are talking about real life story and from the heart, and I'm just praying to God, and that people are like really really looking at this interview, and they're really absorbing it, especially the younger ones, who have the whole life ahead of them. You know what I'm saying? So, me, advice for kids. Okay, please, what advice um, could you give a child who's going to come up to you and they're going to say, Mr. Boo, I am dead serious about being a dancer, a professional dancer? What would you say, or what would your response be? I'm gonna, I mean, I'm imagining what your response is going to be, but like how, I feel their response is going to be just, not just go do it. So I think it's going to be more of that. You're going to say, so what happened, bro? What you going to do when somebody comes up to you, a young one, and they say, Mr. Boo, this is my path. I'm gonna, be a professional dancer and stuff. What advice can you give the little one?
Well, I think it also depends. I mean, when I hear that question, I think of different layers. Number one, how many? I mean, I start thinking right away. How many circles of separation am I with that person, right? Because there's a level of appropriateness to what I can and cannot say, depending on the circle of separation, right? Layers of separation. So if it's someone I just barely met, then I would say, of course, you should go ahead and pursue what you want to do, because again, it's you're not going to know if it's something you really like or not until you actually do it. So, saying that can be a little bit difficult for some people because it goes back to human behavior. Some of us are afraid to try new things, not because that's just who they are. That can be changed through personal growth, but it's just something they were brought up as a child to be fearful to try different things. Well, ultimately, I would always encourage someone that, if they want to do something, they want to date somebody, they want to dance, they want to start an event, my recommendation from someone that is secure themselves, like myself, I would say, yeah, you should do that. You should be exercise your freedom and your pursuit of happiness and do what you want to do. Now that's a third degree of separation. Now it was someone from a second or first degree of separation, it's a different story, and that's very difficult to say because now you're asking questions where for me it's like I layer things. So I start thinking about, okay, how well do I know this person? Do we have a rapport where I can actually give advice? Because advice can only be given if it's actually warranted and being asked for. And for someone that, for me, I just have a bunch of information I can just dump on people, but there is a time and place, and there's an appropriateness level to that. So I would say, I mean, from outside onion level, very superficial, yes, go ahead and do it. Now, if I really want to give my answer is do it, but make mental health a priority. You can't you can't really get very far in life if you don't make personal growth and your mental health a priority. Because if you're not able to proceed into this world in a manner where you're and secure, but also see the world is a safe and generally a safe place, then you're always going to be that person that's always going to be looking over their back. You're not going to be able to trust anybody. You're going to cut off your emotions. You're going to have a narcissistic behavior. You're going to think that, you need to puff up your shoulders and your chest to be bigger than what you really are because you're afraid for people to know what you really are underneath. So there are a lot of things involved that I feel that ties back to simply human behavior. So uh, make mental health a priority. There are plenty of people out there who can help with that, but not everybody is the right person. You have to always find the right particular behavioral therapist or a therapist that can actually focus on unwinding your trauma. I do feel like everybody has some sort of trauma. If you're of my generation, your generation, Roswell, or anyone that is a little bit older than us, 50s, 60s, right? Or even into the 40s, we have to make mental health a priority. Otherwise, we're just going to keep stumbling along. We're just going to simply breaking romantic relationships. We're not going to be able to build relationships that we can depend on one another and feel safe. Remember that when it comes to dancing, why one of the reasons why we go out dancing isn't because we're just looking for a good time. We're looking for connection. We're looking for people that we can connect with and feel safe with, because human beings only feel safe in groups. Because think about it, in the animal kingdom, how often you see the antelope running on by itself? When the antelope is running by itself, chances are it's going to get killed, or the sardine. So animals have learned to proceed through the world in a pack as a group. Human beings are no different. We just go about it in a way where it's very subtle, and if you're not really watching for it, you don't quite understand. But when it comes to focusing just on our dance industry or our dance field, people go to events as a way to feel connected with someone else, because we feel safer when we feel connected with someone else and someone has our back. So if you go back to the question that you had before, now I want to answer that, is, well, what do you do when someone says, oh, I want to go to this event, but my friends are going to this event. Where do we go? Just everyone's all over the place, right? And the simple answer is people are going to go where they feel more connected. The thing is, if you go to an event that doesn't feel welcoming, that has a low attendance due to for whatever reason, people tend to, the majority of people aren't going to go there because they want to go where the pack is going to be at, because they feel safer. If imagine me, Jenny Boo, super hot model, just started learning salsa dancing and bachata dancing. If I start wandering in to a new venue, what's going to happen? If I go there by myself, all the wolves are going to come right after me. And I'm not going to feel safe. But if I go to Joe Banana's event, where I feel welcomed, I feel safe, I feel that when I go there, I'm protected because there's a pack around me, what chances are I'm going to go there instead? So, mental health, very important in terms of proceeding through life. And also just mental health just helps with relationships, because undoubtedly what happens is when you go to dance events and if you're single, what happens? You're seeking connection. You're not just seeking connection for the dance floor. Oh, actually, some people get their kicks and their satisfaction to fill the cup, so to speak, from simply dancing with someone else through touch, right? There is a subset of people who do that. But there's other people who want to pursue a relationship, a romantic relationship, which further increases our sense of safety. When we have a romantic relationship with someone, we feel safe because we have a romantic partner that is supposed to be there to watch our backs. Now remember, I said supposed to because it goes back. What is the purpose of a relationship? A relationship is where we're there for our partner's needs and for them to be there for ours. Most of our needs, not just part of it, not a quarter of it, but most of it. So undoubtedly, if we're a dancer, let's just say you, Roswell, and I meet you at the dance floor. I'm like, damn, that 50-year-old man who likes to read books on a Saturday night, that's who I want to be with, right? So, but the question right now is, after that is, can you be there for me? Can I be there for you? And in order for us to be able to be in a position where we can do that, we have to make mental health a priority. Because how many times have dancers who are watching this video or this podcast or whatever you want to call it, how many people have tried to do a relationship with a dancer and it just goes up in flames? Because, why? Because although you're both at a same place, sharing the same interest, you may or may not be prepared to be in a romantic relationship. And that is the reality. A lot of times, the reason why relationships with dancers do not work isn't because they're a dancer. is because you're ill prepared or you're not prepared to be in a romantic relationship and the responsibilities that come with being in a romantic relationship. My wife, Masha, she is a kizomba dancer. She dances urban kids. She's amazing. The only reason why this relationship works between me and her is because we did the work before we got together. We got, we took care of the majority of our issues, and we're in a position where when we got into a relationship, we were able to take care of one another. As opposed to me years ago being ill prepared, not knowing what a relationship is about, going to a relationship in the most interesting way, which is just simply physical intimacy, right? A lot of times we that feel, right? We go dancing, we touching each other, and not in a sexual way, but in a way where it's like it sparks these interests, and then we try to explore that explore where that idea is going to go or that feeling through physical intimacy. Well, unfortunately, physical intimacy does not replace whether or not the person can be there for you in a relationship. That's two different things. Mother Nature, in a sense, wants you to have sex because she wants you to procreate. She wants you to have children. We have to understand as a society here that Mother Nature isn't looking to see whether or not you're going to be there for me. She's more interested in having you just have kids. So it is our responsibility to make personal growth and mental health a priority, to recognize whether or not the feelings you're getting when you meet this person is it just like what's the word? Just like surface issues, right? It's just surface feelings, right? Or is it something deep? Is this person here for me? Or is this just a sexual drive that Mother Nature is just telling me to do? As all of these things, right? It's like the reality is all of these things that you may have heard or seen that happens in the dance scene is not unique in the dance scene. It is common to every single microculture, microclimate, whatever you want to call it. It's all out there. What ties it all together, what ties us and you and me to West Coast swing, to salsa, to urban kids, to East Coast swing, West Coast swing dancing, whatever it is out there, or not even that, or chess players, or runners, or ballroom dancing, all the most common denominator for all those subgroups is human behavior. So as long as we make personal growth and mental health a priority, we will be able to function and be able to interact with people in a way where, number one, you know the people who are not in a position to have a relationship. Because the reality is, not everyone can be in a relationship. Not everyone can do relationships. They can have sex, but they cannot do relationships. So we have to recognize that. And in order to recognize those kind of people, you have to be in a position within yourself to be secure in a way to be able to identify those behaviors that are red flags and say, that's not for me. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a healthy relationship. But again, mental health is not easy. So when you're asking, remember when you asked me earlier, I told you it's not an easy answer. It's not easy where it's like a little night and day, a flick of the switch. It takes real work to get to the point within yourself to be accepting of who you are yourself, but also to be able to accept others around you and be able to identify which people that you can trust and cannot trust, right? Because the reality, again, not everyone you can do business with. Not everyone can play nice with one another when it comes to collaboration with different events. The reality is a lot of people, unfortunately, who are in the dance festival scene, dance organizer, local events, regional, national events, they are ill-equipped to be able to function at that level because they just haven't worked on themselves. You know Damien Guzman, right? Damien Guzman he made a great post, an amazing post that I think I just hearted, that I don't think people took to heart what exactly he was trying to say. And he was basically saying that you cannot organize events, you cannot be at that top tier level if your foundation in behavior, if you're not prepared. You can't have an event if you don't have core skills in project management. You cannot be, a dance instructor if you don't know the core skills of dancing. right? So it all comes to foundation. And for me personally, the foundation when it comes to being able to function in this world is human behavior, personal growth, mental health.
You know what I'm thinking of? I know, I normally don't, open up on social media about this, but I'll make this one exception. But you said, you know what my problem is? My my problem is that kills me. Okay, I go to a dance. Oh God. Okay, I have these Roswell expectations in my head, Jimmy. Right? I go to a dance event. Oh, it's just been happening. I will never learn. I'm all dressed up. I take a shower. I comb my hair, shave, whatever. All pumped up. Like, I'm pumped up meaning that I put the music on in my car. I'm all jitter. I'm like, yeah, yeah, whatever. Okay, gonna go meet my love of my life. Okay, so it wasn't working out before because the music is so loud, and I'm trying to have a conversation with whoever she is on the dance floor. So a lot of girls been telling me, Roswell, they're like, "What? What did you say? What? 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 You work where? What do you do?" But it didn't work out, because the music is loud. So I said, "Okay, when I dance with a girl and I like her or whatever, how about we just transfer numbers on Facebook?" Oh, wait. After this dance, I have, she's dancing with somebody else, and so before you know it, I didn't get her, Facebook contact or number, whatever. So now I'm trying something different. Now I created business cards. So so every time I dance with a chick now, okay, fine, we don't have to talk. Go dance with the next guy after you dance with me. But guess what? It's my business card. It has my name, my number, my email, everything. It has a photo of me. She could never forget me if she leaves the country, whatever. On the backside, it has the name of my company, where I live, my address, family members. Like the entire book is on one little card. So no one's calling me yet. No one's like, so I'm beginning to think maybe it's too much information. Maybe I'm overwhelming the girl. So I don't know. I don't know what's the problem with me. I don't sleep. I can't believe this. I'm saying this on live. Like, I don't sleep around. I
Of
know,
course, I believe it.
I don't sleep around. I know many men are probably Roswell. You're just saying this for publicity. If you guys want to believe me, fine. If you guys don't, I don't sleep around. A lot of people think, I don't know what people think about me, that I get dressed up. I travel the world. I don't talk much. I just stand there and look at people, and I just take the check home. I never, 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 and I say this on a stack of Bibles, I never slept with a girl by taking her home with me after I danced with her. So a lot of guys are looking at me and like, what's your problem? So why are you going? Why don't you just stay home and just like pick your nose or something? You're supposed to pick up chick, go to bed with them, sleep with them. Like, but that's not me. I tried it, but it's just not Roswell. It's somebody else. So I don't know what's my problem. And just maybe we'll talk about this maybe
Well,
for
if I
October.
can if I can say something, I feel the question I have for you is, and before we do that, I think it's always good to ask questions. I think one of the great things as human beings that we can do to one another is to simply ask questions, because we can't make assumptions. So for me, is my question for you is, well, why do you feel the need to give these people their cards?
Uh, uh, Bingo. I mean, this is this. I mean, I just feel that. I mean, I have that one chance, bro. I have that one chance, that one opportunity for them to get to know me. I may
So
never see them again. So I figured
okay,
that one. I have that one chance that God has given me. So I'll put everything on this little card and pray that. I mean, I know it's stupid what I'm saying, and I don't
it's not
know.
stupid. It's not stupid at all. It's not stupid because then we're going to the question of, does that mean, well, do you feel that perhaps the reason why you do it is because you're not confident enough with yourself, that interacting with a woman or man, right, do you not feel confident enough where you can make a good impression with them, enough where they'll be, well, you'll be memorable, and where, and is it because possible that you're giving a car is because something inside of you is telling you to doubt yourself, that you have the ability for to leave a lasting impression with the person.
I mean, bro, I tried to have the conversation. That didn't work out because the music was too loud. I tried to be like, hey, wait, before you go dance to the next guy, hey, let's just swap numbers. Oh, Ross, okay, we'll do it. I promise this guy I'm going to dance. So I said,
Right,
God,
right, right.
what am I doing wrong? Then we just tried the
Well,
thing. I don't know what else to do because I can't have a conversation with somebody when the music is pumping. So what am I supposed to do? That's what bugs me, and I'm never learning
I
my. I
Well,
don't
I
know.
think what you should be doing is you should be focused on personal growth and working on yourselves. That's the first thing I would say. Okay. The second thing is we have to understand why the person is there. Typically, and I
Right.
think I speak for a lot of women, not because I'm a woman, but because I have a wife and through experience, women who go out dancing, they're just there to dance. They're not there to hook up. They're not there to pursue relationships. The reality is they're just there to simply either one, get away from the grind of life, right? They're just there to have a good time. And you know, remember that's the key. They're there to have an enjoyable time. They're not there to be picked up. You're just one person, one man, in a whole list of other men who are just trying to have a relationship with them, which is fine, right? In terms of us as human beings, we are driven to connect with others. And again, we pursue romantic relationships because we feel safer in them. But we have to understand the context and of the situation, which is the dance environment is not a situation where you should be picking up. I say should. I usually say could, right? But what I say is it's not something. A dance scene is not something where you should be there specifically for picking up relationships and pursuing relationships. The goal of what you're trying to do, above all, is to connect with people. You're there to dance to connect with people. And if you feel that you're there, you're at an event, you're dressed up nice, if you don't connect with the person, then maybe you're not supposed to connect with that person in that sense, right? Maybe when you're out dancing or out there, it's just to have a conversation. It doesn't have to lead to anything. And I think that's why people say it's important to not pursue something in a sense where it's like, you know how like some people say, oh, you know what? I need to go out there and find a relationship. And the more they try, the further the ability to get a relationship,
Mhm.
the more you wish that you got this job interview, the further away it gets from you. So it's because of that energy that, remember, that energy that you're putting out is anxiety. You're putting out anxiety, and anxiety is not attractive, not only in a man or a woman, but it's not attractive in the animal kingdom. If you're feeling anxious because you're afraid of, like, you know, the zebra, or I'm sorry, the lion's going to come after you. Well, guess what? The other zebras are like, well, no, maybe we shouldn't be around this particular zebra for whatever reason, you know. But my point is that number one, it goes back. If you're going out to a dance scene and you're a man, you could just simply remember that people are there just to have fun and dance. Connection will happen when it's supposed to happen. You cannot force connection, right? So, but it goes back to, right. But the question is, why are you putting this card out? Why do you feel the need that you have to put this business card out? And the key thing I heard was you said that this is your one chance. And the only reason why someone would say that is because you're feeling anxious that you'll never get the chance again. What you could do is train yourself that it's okay. It's okay if this person doesn't come back in my life. I'm just simply going to enjoy the moment I have with this person and let it go. If it's meant to be, it'll come and happen. But going about throwing out a business card is not only it's tacky in a sense, right? Because it's not business. This is not like a meet and greet during your business meetings, Roswell. You know, this is simply a place of non-business where people just go out and have some fun, and it should be treated that way. I would say that it goes back. You just got to focus on understanding that, just relax, just enjoy the moment, you know, enjoy the conversation, and just let things happen the way they should happen. And it's not going to happen if we force it.
Okay, that enough said. Okay, okay. I'll cut down on a business card. I'll just, just let it be, let it
Yeah,
flow.
and live in the moment. Roswell, you should be, my recommendation for you and everyone else is forget the business cards and just focus on living the moment. Because that is something you're not going to be able to get back again. That's not something that a business card is going to bring back to you, right? Because this idea of putting your hopes and dreams in this object, aka the business card, isn't going to happen. Because what you're doing is it's another behavioral thing where you're basically using your business card as a security blanket. I forgot what the theory is called though, but what happens is what's very common with a lot of children growing up is they have a safety blanket, a security blanket that makes them feel better. Remember some videos, someone like Charlie Brown. There's always that kid with the blanket. They're sucking their thumb because the blanket makes them feel better about themselves. And what happens? Oh, it's transference. That's what it's called. Object transference. So basically, what you're doing is, and what a lot of people do is, you put your insecurity and issues into this business card as a way to kind of cast it away, right? It makes you feel better to know that if the person, basically what you're trying to do in a sense, and again, I'm not a licensed clinician, I'm just simply that has a lot of experience in this field, is perhaps you're putting all of this information and this card and you're putting it out there as a way to put your anxieties onto it. Because in your mind, somewhere back in your mind, you're saying, I'm anxious that this person will never contact me. But by putting this card out there, I'm giving myself hope that it will eventually or could happen.
Hmm. Hmm. A lot of stuff I'm thinking about. Okay. Well, look, another bad thing about this is just that, then I begin to think, forget about the business card, but let's say, I'm like, what am I doing that this guy is not doing? And he's picking up this chick and that chick, and maybe I'm ugly. Maybe I need to match more, shave more. You know what I'm saying? Then I begin to doubt myself because you see, like,
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's normal, right? I mean, it's all like, what is he
it is
doing?
normal.
I'm not doing. Do I have to go home with women and sleep with them? That's not my style. I mean,
Yes, but there's a key difference between you and the other person. The key difference is you are Roswell. You are an individual with your own set of experiences, cultural differences that has made you who you are. That other person you know nothing about. That other person that's supposedly sleeping around could have anxiety issues, could have ego issues. A lot of times people sleep around because it makes them feel better, because it gives them the high. Remember, when we have sex, our body releases endorphins. It releases chemicals that make us feel better about ourselves, right? Because Mother Nature wants you to feel better because she wants you to continue procreating. But we all know that those chemicals dissipate over time. That's the reality. It just dissipates. So a lot of people are seeking that high. So they lose it. They find the next person, have more physical relationships, bring those chemicals back up again, and it goes back down. But the fault that is common through every single interaction they have is something going on within them, where something within them they do not make, that doesn't make them feel safe or superior, and it has a lot to do with self-esteem. It's common in men, common in women. Again, we're not here to judge anyone. We're not telling specifically to judge specific people. We're simply talking about human behavior and what humans have developed over time in order to feel safe with themselves and with others. So please do not compare yourself with the other person that's possibly sleeping around or not sleeping around, because they are not you. You are an individual with your own experiences, cultural differences, with your own upbringing that make you who you are. The thing that is important right now with this interaction that we have, you and I, is to focus on yourself, make yourself focus on things that make Roswell Roswell, and improve on that. Tap into that thing. Don't compare yourself to the other person. It's just a pipe dream. It doesn't get you anywhere. Comparisons to other people don't work because that other person has different experiences. They are not an individual. You are special, Roswell, because you there's only one you. And I say this to every single person that's possibly watching and what out there. There's only one you. Embrace it, accept it. There is nobody that can ever compare themselves to be like you. So therefore, we need to tap into that and show the world what that is about. A lot of times we are hiding it because our parents told us to hide it. Parents tell their daughters, "Oh, don't dress nice. Don't dress like in a way where you look good." When actuality, we should be learning that we should be dressing nice. We should be dressed in a way where that makes us show what our great features and abilities and personalities are. We want to be tapping into that is because it's who we are as individuals. How else are we going to connect with other people if we don't show them our true selves? But again, there is a fine line. Do not trust people that should not be trusted. There are people out there that have anxiety issues to the point where they're borderline personality disorders. People who narcissism. There are people at the ends of the spectrum that you should not be interacting with. And although my behavioral therapist that I used to work with told me that everyone has some good to them, I have come to my own conclusion that there are people out there you cannot work with. Not because you can't ever work with them, but because it's not the right time for them. People with narcissism, you can't work with them. But maybe someday, but I'm not going to waste my time waiting around for them to figure it out. I'm not going to have time working with someone who has borderline personality disorder. They may be great, they may be nice, but I can't work with them if they're not in a position where I feel safe with them. And ultimately, we all, as human beings, must recognize we have to look out for ourselves. Unfortunately, a lot of times, cultural symbols cause us to make family a priority, and that is incorrect. Your individualism, who you are, is a higher priority than anything out there. So focus on improving yourself. Roswell, focus on your individualism. Do not compare yourself with other people. It does not help because you're just simply chasing a dream.
Yeah, right, bro. So all those business cards, I'm gonna go back to Staples. I got a receipt, but I can return them, so it's okay. I get a refund. It's only like what 900. I mean, 920 business cards. I mean, I'm sure I won't. The mouthpiece to the manager. I might get a receipt, so get a refund. So I can use the ticket and come to California with the refund. you know. I want my ticket to California. Yeah, here it is. No, no, but seriously, I gotta work on that. I mean, you know, so just so the girl knows, oh, I'm a nice guy, doesn't have to put it on the card. Put it, yeah, but I'm gonna work on that, bro. Thank you so much. I feel much better now. I feel much better. Um, oh God, you're so great, bro. I love you. I can just like reach out and hug you right now, but I can't. Oh. Anyway, oh boy, we've been talking for what 2 hours now? Oh my God, longest interview I've ever had. That's amazing. Okay, okay, um, okay. Before we go, I want to ask you if you can just share once again, maybe like a couple like upcoming events that are coming up soon, like super soon. I mean, would you like to just send a friendly reminder right now to everyone about?
Yes, yes. So we have our first festival. It's called Hello Bachata Fest. It is dated for July 26th to the 28th, 2024, in the city of San Francisco. It is that festival or this upcoming festival is built on the foundation of our monthly events, our successful monthly events. Our monthly events have I would say arguably one of the best turnouts, best attendance in the whole Bay Area. Not because of what I'm doing, but it is simply the promise of connection with other people, be able to make new friends and old friends. Well, make new friends and reconnect with old friends. That's all the reason why an event is successful. It's whether or not you're able to cultivate an environment for people to connect with one another. And my team that I have that creates this event, Hello Bachata and Hello Kizomba, we do this every month, and we have proven that it is possible to have a formula that actually works. So it only made sense for us to transition from our monthly event, Hello Bachata and Hello Kizomba, to make a festival where we can impact a wider audience. Instead of just attracting 400 to 500 people to our monthly events, we now have the capability to attract and connect to a wider group of people, maybe in the thousands. But we do this not because we're doing it for selfish reasons. We do this because we have a very specific plan, which is to help people connect with one another. And we are genuinely doing that. And the only reason why we could do that is because we are all a team and we all have a sense of security that we can trust one another. My team and I, there's 10 of us that put on this event every month. And we have grown to become a very, we come to know that we can trust one another. And I believe that in order for great things to happen, not only within yourself, but to our community, people have to trust one another. And at least for us, I trust my team trusts me, and now our dance community trusts us that we provide an environment that can cultivate connection. We are able to do that with our monthly events. So in the city of Oakland, California, we have Bachata by the Basin. We just had the event back on Sunday, July 23rd. We pulled in 400 to 420 people to that event. A free event, outdoor event. Remember how I was telling you about when I did my free salsa lessons? We take out money as the equation. Well, that was another test for me to show that it is possible to pull people when the money's not an object, to pull that many people in. And that's what we got. So Bachata by the Basin is next year. We just finished the event. So Bachata by the Basin will be next year. It's a free outdoor event. We have our dance festival next year, but also we have our monthly event. Oh, and also in September, we have DJ Tronchi from Italy coming as a guest to perform at a monthly event that we scheduled in September. And again, that is only possible if someone like DJ Trunky can trust us that we're not going to jip him, you know, that he knows that we're there for him. Just like everyone else that's on our festival lineup. Our festival lineup is very solid because people trust us. We have proven ourselves that we are one of the top tier event organizers that people can trust. People know that they'll get paid. People know that they will be treated with respect. And people know that our event is something where the promise of connecting with others is likely to happen. And so I welcome our viewers and our dance community to consider looking into coming to our festival next year on July 26th or 28th, July 26th and the 28th, I should say. Or if they're ever in San Francisco, to look up our event, Hello Bachata and Hello Kizomba. It can be found on Instagram, it can be found on Facebook. Our our social media presence is very active and top tier, I would say. We have some of the best minds putting on these great events, and I am very happy to call these people behind my team my friends. Also, knowing that, and our festival is going to do the same thing. We're just going to attract some of the best minds, the best talent, people that we want to be around with, not people that we can't trust, but people we can trust, and just get together, have a good time, and focus on understanding why we do what we do, which is we focus on community and connection.
That's great, bro. And I remember the posting you shared for that event next summer. I mean, it's beautiful. It's very it's designed. I love it. I mean, it's thank you for sharing it. By the way, I just want to say thank you for sharing that and all your postings. I appreciate it. Just wanted to say that. And I would like you to repost it as many times as you would like to share. That share whatever else you put out to Facebook and stuff, and even if even if it's not something that's related to dance specifically, but something that can really just help the world or help the community or whatever, because this bachata Facebook stuff, I want to continue to make it into an educational purpose, not only an entertainment purpose, you know, things that can help the world and help the community grow and grow and grow, you know. So continue what you're doing so much. Thank you for taking these like 2 hours to speak with me. I mean, it's kind of funny, Mr. Boo, because I made an announcement before the summer, before I started these Roswell summer interviews that, I said I made a promise and I went live and I said it's going to be 30 minutes. My interviews are just getting longer and longer and longer, and I love it. I love it. So what if some people are like, oh, as well, we're not. No, we're not going to talk to you for like 8 hours. Okay, fine. Don't talk to me. That's fine. I'll just I'll share your posting. I don't care. But I can't. I mean, this is the purpose of doing these live interviews. So people can hear you guys speak from the heart. And some things can be rehearsed, some things cannot, and the things that are not is why we're going over the 30 minutes, which I appreciate, and I am, and social media also thanks you and everyone else. Mr. Boo, hopefully you come to New York soon.
Yes,
And
definitely.
if you're not in New York, after New York, my plan is that every winter I head down south. When it gets cold, I hate the cold. I like to go down South Georgia or Florida, hang out there. If you're ever in those areas, in the next few months, let me know or whatever. Or if you come to New York, New Jersey, whatever. Let me know if you ever come to the East Coast. Just let me know, and I can maybe meet you or something or whatever. But it's an honor talking with you. Thank you so much. And yeah, definitely, yeah. When I pick up this interview stuff, in autumn, we definitely, we can do this again and go live and talk more about more stuff and mental illness and mental health and mental Roswell. We can even talk about me. Well, that might be like an 8 hour interview. Like, what's going on in Roswell's head now? But in all due respect, thank you for everything you've said. And okay, last minute stuff you want to say as we close out. What would you like to say to everyone who's listening? Who's like, all right, Jimmy, you got the last word. What would you like to say?
Feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram under J Smooth Salsa, JSMOOTH Salsa, because I used to do salsa dancing. And I'm always happy to have a conversation, carry on a conversation, because you never know where it's going to go. And with my experience in terms of mental health, and I'm always willing to just help people. It's just a matter of people wanting to be helped and getting some direction. So if you're watching this, hopefully by this point, at the end of this video, reach out to me. I'm always happy to have a conversation. If I'm able to impact one person's life or multiple people's lives in terms of making them better uh, within themselves, then my work as a servant of the community is working.
Good, bro. Thank you so much. You deserve two thumbs for that. Not really much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Roswell, for the interview. Thank you for the opportunity. It's much appreciated. And of course, we'll make time to come out and see you.
Have a good summer, man. Thank you so much. Peace out.
Thank you very much. Okay. Bye bye.